and in Greensboro,
Sorry, I got lost before. Sorry, go ahead.
okay. In Greensboro, North Carolina, where they were holding some specific artifacts that came back to them from 9/11. So we got the flight attendant book. Like there was like a book where people record, you know, all their stuff while they're on the flight, what the flight attendants are supposed to record. So we had her flight attendant book, and she was on Flight 93, and this book was recovered and returned to her husband, and then he gave it to the museum that I was currently in at the time. I didn't necessarily work there. I did artifacts all over North Carolina, so I was moving, but I remember when I walked into that room, it smelled like jet fuel. And this is a big room, like the whole archives room smelled like jet fuel. And we were trying to figure out how to get this thing not to stink up everything we had.
Oh, wow.
And this was in 2007 or 8. So this is so many years after it was soaked in jet fuel. The jet fuel still permeated the entire room, and it was like something we were trying to figure out how to not make happen. And that's why her husband couldn't keep that book, because it smelled so terrible. And
like literally,
I don't know.
like literally, it was so powerful. Like literally.
It was overwhelming for every single person who came into like a 20-foot radius of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know, like, I feel like I want to cry for this woman, because I remember seeing her name and her handwriting and the log like 10 minutes before shit went down, you know? She had no idea.
Yeah.
And that smell, I will never forget. I've never smelled jet fuel in my life, but I will never forget the smell of jet fuel again.
Thank you for that. Yeah, there's new memories that show up. Thank you, Joe, for that, sharing that. I wanted to share something else that I came across today as another way to reflect, is to holding space for other stories, like Jill just shared, that we all share. And so one of the organizations that I really appreciate their work is StoryCorps. And so I wanted to share kind of what their offerings were for today and what they offer. Can you guys still see that okay?
Looks great.
Okay. So StoryCorps, let me see if I can move it. So I think, are some of you familiar with StoryCorps? They're all about sharing individual stories that go into Library of Congress. They do have different initiatives. I originally came in contact with them when I was working for a family caregiver resource center, when they have an early memory loss support group, support initiative, and I hosted them. So I had family members that were interviewing each other as part of that initiative, and it was really beautiful to be able to host that. They have trucks that go around sometimes. NPR highlights one of their videos maybe every Friday if you listen on Friday morning. So this is one that they have, which is remembering September 11th. So it's an initiative on this. Let me see if I can get this to go. And they have a lot of different videos. So with the audio stories, sometimes they create different videos. Oops, do you still see it? Where did I go? Okay. So let me just do this, my videos. So I just wanted to show a few of them for you. If this one will come up. There we go. So this is a sweet one that I wanted to share with you, if it's okay. There's other couple, but let me just share this one. And I love the animation. It's beautiful. So
it's perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Are you sure you're on mute? You're not on mute.
I can't hear the sound. Can anyone not hear the sound?
Hey, Steph, unplug your earbuds.
I don't know if the earbuds are the problem, but I'm pretty sure no
You know
one can
what
hear
she
the
can do?
sound.
You know, she can do.
So it's gonna be a bottle of water. I have the bottle of water and it's in
What
my
did you
hand.
just do?
I didn't do anything but turn that on.
Sorry,
Okay, it's working
guys.
now.
Oops. So I'm just watching their short. It's 2 minutes. So you're okay with watching it again? Is it? You can hear the sound? I was on mute. Sorry.
Got it now.
I knew as soon as I looked at her that she was the one. It was magical. I can't describe it. I couldn't tell her that, but I was like a 15-year-old again. I got all Google-eyed and didn't know what to do or say, and stumbling wasn't like me at all. Wasn't a typical macho Italian guy from Brooklyn. When I met Karen, somehow she relaxed me. She just taught me patience. I had very little patience. Basically, I was one of those guys rolled down the window and screamed at the drivers when they weren't driving the way I thought they should be. And she toned me down. She showed me to be nicer to people, give it a second thought before you start yelling. And I've carried that with me. Other than her going to work, there wasn't a time we weren't together. Every morning, Karen would drive with me to my office, and then she'd take the subway from my office one stop to the Trade Center. I worked in Brooklyn, so my window across the East River, I could see the Twin Towers. So I'm doing some work, and one of my workers comes in and says, "Richie, I just heard that the Trade Center got hit with a plane." I turn around and I see the building burning. And I took my office chair and I threw it at my window. So they brought the nurse up. She gives me a bottle of water. I have the bottle of water and it's in my hand, and my hand is trembling so much that it's splashing all over me. I couldn't even hold the bottle in my hand. I miss her eyes. Her eyes sparkled to me. One day they were blue, next day they were green, depending on how the light hit them. Karen, I'll always be in love with you, and I will see you again. I will do enough good to make it up there.
Does anybody want to share or reflect on that? Their whole. Oh,
Is
go
that
ahead.
his real picture? Can you scroll down? I want to see
Oh, no,
his face.
Oh no, this is a different one. They don't have
Oh,
a picture with it.
I would love to see his face, but
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sure that was kind of an animated. So these are various stories. So they have like they said, they're trying to capture a story of everybody. There was another one here that there are a few different ones I wanted to share. So you see there's a whole bunch of different ones. I thought this one was poignant too, so I kind of wanted to share a different story, if that's okay. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
from a different perspective.
Please.
Today we remember a man who was killed in the country's very first hate crime murder after September 11th. Just a few days after the attacks in New York, Balbir Singh Sodhi was planting a garden outside the gas station he owned in Mesa, Arizona, when a man who was seeking retaliation for 9/11 shot and killed him, assuming he was Muslim. Balbir was Sikh and wore a turban. At StoryCorps, his brothers Rana and Harjeet sat down to remember him.
When we came here in the United States, he made friend very quick.
I remember when Balbir and me, we opened the gas station. I saw he gave the free candies to children, free drinks, and some people did not have enough money, said, pay me tomorrow.
He's kind of special person. When 9/11 happened, Balbir called me and told me, turn on the TV because our country get attacked.
He said, I like to donate my blood.
But immediately they start showing the Bin Laden picture on the TV. And people saw only a turban and a beard. People yelled to us using F word and asking to go back to your country. And after that, even our neighborhood people start talking, you guys need to be very careful.
People said, can you take your turban off?
But I say, this is part of my religion. I can't take off my turban. After 9/11, a lot of hate crime happened. And Balbir was the first. On September 15, Balbir was outside working with a landscaper to give them direction where they can plant flowers.
And somebody shot Balbir. He fired 6 shots and 5 hit my brother. Somebody took my best person, my best brother.
In his funeral, people come from all over the world, and that make you feel better, especially when you're immigrant and you feel like you're not alone. The person who killed my brother, I talked to him in 2016, and he said that if he die and go to the God, only thing he want to do is see my brother and say sorry to him. Balbir's death teaches love and peace, and I decided this is my mission of my life.
His death was so sad, but I have still his memory, and I'm proud of my brother.
That's Harjit and Rana Sodhi in Mesa, Arizona, remembering their brother Balbir Singh Sodhi, who was murdered after 9/11. Later that day, his killer also shot at people who are of Middle Eastern descent. They all survived. The shooter is currently serving out a life sentence.
Could be today.
Can I say-
Yes, Brenda.
So I don't know if you guys remember, about 5 years ago, there was a shooting in San Bernardino at I forget what building now. But I was actually working at St. Bernardine's just down the street. So we actually took care of patients who were affected by that incident. And it was scary too, because we didn't know, again, what was happening, who's a suspect. And then little by little, as information was coming in, we found out that he was Muslim, and, he had, this thing that he wanted to carry out. And seeing people, how they reacted to that news around, my environment, because we were on lockdown. So I was basically in the hospital 12 hours plus because they shut us down. They wouldn't let anybody in or out. And people were angry at the entire, religion. Everybody was, a terrorist at that point. And I think what really hurts me about our world today is that there could be one certain individual, and all of a sudden everybody in that group is, a bad person.
Vilified, yeah.
And yeah, everybody was angry, and we were sad, and we were like, no, not like, again, why is this happening again? We can't continue to put everybody in that same, box and say, because this is who you are the enemy. And it's just really sad to see, because we're already sad because people are dead, but now we're creating this hate and this culture of like, well, we're gonna hate you, you're the enemy, and people, because there's a lot of Muslim and Sikh doctors, like there's a lot cardiologists, like there's just a lot, and they were like kind of, trying to, duck away and hide, because everybody was like now looking at them. And it's like, they're not, we can't do that. We can't single people out like that and just make them to be the enemy. So it's sad to see this story, and I immediately remembered of how I felt for, you know, the doctors in my hospital that were kind of like, you know, worried for their safety.
Yeah.
You know, so that just reminded me of that time, because they, you know, they wear their turban, they have their beard, and you know, somebody who's not educated and just wants to, you know, point the finger without even really realizing that what they're doing is more damaging, you know, they will just not make the situation better, because then they try to get other people riled up and say, yeah, you know, we need to get that guy, like he's a part of it, you know, he's one of them. We can't do that anymore. We can't.
Yeah, we're living that right now. Thanks, Brenda. Janet, I know you wanted to share something.
Yeah, it was just a response to Brenda's comments. I think to keep in mind when you vote, to vote people who make a point of respecting all ethnic groups, all religions. That's where a lot of it starts. We need leadership that supports that. We need new leadership, we just say.
Well, it also reminds me of what Jeff said about being in a cafeteria and seeing some people pray and some people weep and some people say, I'm going to do something, and some people say, I'm so angry. I mean, that we are naturally drawn to certain responses, and how can we see that impulse in ourselves?
I don't know. That's part of the questions for how do we want our world to be when we come out of this pandemic?
Yeah,
we need to stand up, and you know, unfortunately, we can't all be together, but.
Well, I think there's the idea of what we do as a collective with our grief, and action is one of them. It's remembering and what kind of action are we able to do? And Janet, I think as we reflect and do, one of the things is action of voting, and what we have our voice and what in our own space of what's going to resonate and make us feel that we can do something ourselves. And so whatever level of advocacy, that's true, Janet. Yeah,
There's just so many ways to advocate right now. There's so many groups that are giving you access to influencing people to vote, to educating people. It's just endless right now. And
thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Janet. I know Megan wanted, what I think the last couple of things we just wanted to do right now is Megan, I know, wanted to have a kind of just share a little bit about others that we're remembering at this time, especially in dealing with the children. And then I have a closing poem that I would like for us to kind of engage in together. So Megan, do you want to share a little bit about another component?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. And Steph, one thing that I want to say is I do think that we should read the Reimagine mission, if you've got that. I think that it might be a nice time closer to the end to read that that statement. But
oh yeah, because the Reimagine, yeah. So the remember them and then the Reimagine intention, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
The intention. Thank you. So, man, when we were planning for this, I did not expect to be having such a heavy heart as we were getting into this. But one of our purposes tonight was not just to talk about 9/11, but to talk about how we as a larger community grieve together. And I wanted to point out that there's been 2 opportunities this year that have really hit. You know, I'm a mom, and I have a couple of little kids, and I often think about how I can bring them into this tent of understanding and learning about loss on a greater level. And you know, this year we lost Kobe Bryant and Chadwick Boseman, and those are 2 people that really resonated with small kids. And it's something that that they knew who those people were, a lot of them, and that they've been exposed to conversations about their individual deaths, and just point out that there's ways to, I'm really overwhelmed right now. Kobe died in a helicopter crash, and Chadwick died from pancreatic cancer much younger than most people, or colon cancer, much younger than was expected. And I think that using those opportunities to talk to kids about what it means to die and to die so soon. I know I was 19 or 20 when 9/11 happened, and that was a real eye-opener to me, that people die outside of old age. And there's opportunities to bring kids into this conversation, and that we as adults, whether we are the parent, the aunt, the friend, that it's acceptable to talk to them about that and help them process it. And we're not answering questions, we're just exposing them to the reality of loss. And I wanted to share a practice that I do with my kids, which is anytime we see an ambulance or a fire truck pass, we all stop. We're in the car and we stop what we're doing and we just all say, I hope everybody gets home safely tonight. And it's a way to bring the tenuousness of life into a average everyday situation. And I do believe that for all of us, I think that even as an adult, I am not religious by any stretch of the imagination, but I do my version of a little prayer every time I'm on an LA freeway and I'm stopped in traffic and the ambulance drives by. I try to park my feelings of frustration or lateness or inconvenience and just say, I hope everybody gets home safely tonight. And I think that that's important, and something that we can all do with children, with adults, with our crotchety old aunt who's in the car with us, is wish well for the people that are suffering around us and the strangers who are suffering around us. And something that StoryCorps has done is brought those stories of those people and their loved ones right into our hearts. But we don't need a formalized process to do that. We can do it ourselves.
Yeah. So thank you. When Megan shared that's what she does with her children, I'm like, I'm part of the Carmichael family. Like I think that's so beautiful.
It's called Team Impact. We're called Team Impact.
Yeah,
Everybody's a part of Team Impact if they want to be.
Yeah.
And you can do that practice. Just I hope everybody gets home safely tonight.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. We are going to end on the Reimagine intention that I did put in the chat box. So hopefully if you want to be off mute or not, if you want to, we can read it out loud together. One of the things that is going on, I think most of you are familiar with Reimagine Festival, is that on the 9th of every month, they host a vigil. And very well, it's so nice to be invited and welcomed into that space. They did poetry, they do music, there's all these different things. So, and they light a candle and you can honor individuals. So I put it in the chat box, the schedule of that. But I think I would check on the 9th of every month, which is the date, the 9th from January 9th, the first COVID case. And that's how they honor it. So I welcome you all to join me in this Reimagine attention together. We'll add on this, mute or not mute. And I thank you. So there is no life without death, no love without loss. They are in constant complementary motion. But never before in our lives has the world stood so still in the face of distance, illness, and isolation. We are here together, reimagining a changed world, kinder, slower, more just. We are reimagining the giving and the receiving of love, the cycles of loss and new beginnings, and what it means to be fully alive. We are here There is no life without death, no love without loss. They are in constant complementary motion. But never before in our lives has a world stood so still in the face of distance, illness, and isolation. Did I say this already? Am I reading it again? I am.
You're doing your own call and repeat.
We are here. I'm like, wait, we are here. We are here. We are here. Thank you. I was trying to listen to my own words. I'm like, wait, it's going on too long. Oh my God. Thank you all for being here. Oh, got a scrimshaw there, Janet. That's great. And then Laura, we do a silent prayer to the universe to look after whoever needs that ambulance and that support from all of us.
If I could just quickly add something, and I'm only doing it because I'm feeling called to.
Because you're comfortable too?
Yeah. Because like some of you know, I take care of my guru and travel like the US with her and Amma, and just want to let you guys know that we've entered, and all the Hindus, not just her, all the Vedic scholars and all the Hindu people, we've entered as of September 2nd, like the most dangerous time of this year. Like it's actually shifted. And so all the Vedic scholars, it's like in the planets, like it's a real thing, the Vedic astrology and everything. And so just to let, because I'm saying collective grief and thing, and all the Hindu and all the Indians are like doing major ceremonies for it. But so from September 2nd to December, but actually the next, from September 12th to September 15th, just to let you guys know, be extra careful. They're the most dangerous days this year, according to the planets and the Vedic astrology and everything. So Amma's like, just, and all of them are just, I care about you all, and I want you to like all like maybe be careful, because you can see like the fires and the things that are escalating. There's just more, the planets are all like in the death, they're all like lined up together in a death energy, like, and so it's up there like in the sky. So she's just saying like these next days are just 12, 13, 14, 15. So just a little like be extra careful, like, and it's science and astrology and like real. And other people outside the Vedic are also saying it. So just a little, be careful, like be extra careful these days, and you know, that kind of thing. So
thanks, Betsy.
You can take it or not take it, but we're just seeing, you know, a lot of things. So the grief, you know, just to avoid, if you can avoid anything, and they're doing major ceremonies, fire ceremonies and healing, and trying to stop. She's trying to stop the fires out west. And so
where is she right now? Where is your?
Amma's in her forest ashram in India. And I mean, you can see like she's got a website, but they do all these amazing ceremonies, and we're all chanting to try and stop the energies, but it's planetary.
Betsy, I was going to say, I owe you an email, but every time I think to email you, I visit the link of her Facebook page, and I've been watching her chants and watching her ceremonies.
It's powerful.
Even it hits me in a place in my interior, and it feels good. I don't always know what's being said, and I don't always understand from up here. That's why I haven't emailed you, is because every time I start to, I just take that action. But if you want to share,
just in case, but
yeah, please share it. I really appreciated it. It's been centering for me.
Yeah, and other like astrology, like the planets are just, we can't. So just be careful, everybody. Like,
can you say her name? It's Amma.
Can I type it? I can't type anymore.
Yeah. Janet, Janet, did you want to add something?
Well, I was just going to ask for that also, for the website.
I can't type anymore. Is that like gone?
Can you spell it and we'll send it out, or?
Betsy, you can type. Come on.
No, it's like not letting me in the message area.
Oh, it's
wait.
up again.
Okay, Karuna.
Will it with your mind.
I just did. So
Karuma, right? Karuma.
I got it. Karuna. Yeah, so everyone around the world is doing ceremonies and fires and chants and to like
You did
help.
it.
I want to also add that there are also Native Americans who are doing the same thing.
Yeah, like it's a real
yeah.
like I know I sound crazy when I talk about this like to some people,
don't.
but it's like I trust her, I've seen her, I know.
Well, it's
I've
the time.
lived.
It's the time of year. It's also in the Jewish tradition. This is the time right before the new year and the harvesting and all this kind of stuff of reflection and renewal and the
Yeah, this is called
review.
Kala
It's like a
Sarpadosha.
review. It's
Yeah, but this is like destruction on like major, like never seen before. Kala Sapradosha,
Right.
phase 4.
Yeah.
And there's new diseases, there's new, like, so she's like, it's like a real planet, like the energy, like it's, so it's like
Apocalypse.
you know, I just imagine all the planets, they're all just lined up from like the serpent of death is in the head and like death is in the tail.
I think they've been
my
aligned
emotional eating. So
from like
my emotional
No.
eating is going to go skyrocket right now because I'm going to
Huh?
try to handle all this. My emotional eating.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But she's doing, but no, but people are doing prayers and chants, and you can just chant things and
I'll do that. I'll do prayer and
you watch
chanting.
her, and it's making things go down, like it's making. But she's saying it's so out of even her control. Like as much
Yeah.
she can control, like some things. But yeah, the Native Americans, like a lot of people are saying, they all get it. So we just give out extra cautions to people, like not
Yes.
to make you nervous, but just be like they're trying, like it's something you can do, and you can chant, you can do things, and she's so cute. You can watch her and like do the ceremonies and
Betsy,
everything.
thank you.
Oh, and I think to give some dates to what you're saying, I think the planets, the number I heard was 1280. So the planets haven't been in line like this since.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is like this is like a thing. This is like a real, like
It's a thing.
it's like a real thing. And then there's more Kala Sappadoshas next year, but we're trying to like do away. Yeah,
No, I hear you.
Next year, as if we're gonna have one of them.
It's also like so she tries, like, she doesn't panic us. She's like, we can control, we can like be good and help everybody and collectively work together to decrease the effects of it. Because if you chant and do things, you can collectively, as we're talking about, decrease effects of things. So you feel like you have some control and some power and some things.
That's
Well,
the
I will
action.
also say that
That's
I've
the
been
other
listening
action.
to
Like we're
her-
talking about voting, but the action is like, you know, energetically, synergetically, like being at peace and wanting safety and hope. And the other thing I was going to was ending with the meta meditation, the idea of offering love and kindness at this time, because that's really where we need to prioritize and focus, because that's all we can do. I mean, that's all. Literally, we can vote. We can just be present for ourselves and our community and
Yeah, and this is what she's like, collectively around the world, you can feel the energy and the vibrations and stuff.
All right, guys, we can stay here. We can do a 24.
Sorry.
But I thank you all for
Betsy.
being present, and
Thank you, Betsy.
yeah, thank you. And we wish you well for this evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Stay safe at my lovely California.
I'll never leave.
I know
Same.
Jeff is like, what is this thing that you're doing? This is what you wanted to do on your anniversary.
We're enjoying ourselves.
Oh, he was?
actually.
Yeah. Okay, good. You guys were having like side commentary. Like,
Yeah, I know. Well, we're ordering from Morton's, so
oh, nice.
I didn't want anybody else to be a part
Oh my
of that
God.
conversation.
You're gonna get like steak and mashed potatoes.
I'm getting filet Oscar.
Oh God, that makes me so happy.
I already
I'm, like,
bought a
living
bottle of
vicariously.
Camus, and we bought a bunch of weed. Yeah.
Oh, can you send me pictures of your food? I need to live vicariously through it.
If you really want me to.
I really do, and they don't need to be Instagram pictures. I just want to have something to visualize when I fall asleep.
I love you
Give me a
guys.
piece
I
of meat.
miss you.
God.
Oh my God.
I'm
thank
so
you for
glad
that.
you guys made it. And I'm so glad Jeff joined. That's so
Yay, Jeff.
sweet.
Yeah,
Still
that's good.
here. He's still here.
Hey,
He's also
Jeff.
coming with Morton.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us.
Yeah, I'm glad I could
He
join.
had some super good insight. I like
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
Jeff
Jeff.
always
He always
crushes it.
holy shit. Okay, I
I
have to
mean,
turn my video
wait a
off.
minute, wait a minute.
Thank you.
He does until he's ripper drunk, and then he does
Then
bad
I
things.
got nothing to say.
So,
So pretty soon we have nothing to say.
Right.
so yeah,
Take it we'll take it when we can get it, while we can get it.
take it while he's sober.
Yeah.
I'm
And
peeing, so I turned my video
Are
off.
you okay? And by your dumpster, Megan, are you okay by
am.
your dumpster?
I am. I just peed and a spider walked off my pee spot.
oh, we found a snake in our yard for the first time. I've been dreaming about snakes, and then there was a tiny. It looked really cute. I was gonna go pick it up. It didn't have a rattle, but then it did have a diamond head shaped head. And then when I went to go move towards it, it curled up